GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes? Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude,
he? How good is he? Let's get it, baby. GMGP. It's Friday, October 17, 2025. Your boy is back in the building. No more vacation. Vacay Ray is over. We got the people in the building. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday. If you miss us live, you can't join. You live across the globe. You're somewhere. Your ass is asleep. You should be up. You should be tapped in, but if you can't make it, then subscribe to the podcast feed, man. JRich gets his thing loaded a couple hours after every single show, so whether you can join live or not, you can always get the information, actionable and entertaining, the best in the game. And if you're in the building, hit the thumbs up button, like the stream. It takes 1 second to do that. And if you come around and you check out the show often, frequently, you are a regular over here on Wake Up, then subscribe to the YouTube channel. 2026 NFL draft content going up. JRich dropping engaging shorts. Cam Scatterboo, rookie RB1. People ain't like that one, JRich. Recency bias. How the hell? They did not like that short, but we got the people in the building. What's happening with you, Jaden? GMGP to you says, I'm finally here watching live. Well, we're glad you're in the building, baby. We got a bunch of other people in the building. Brandino, Dill Esquire, Jay Sully, Blake C, Travis, what's happening with you, Kevin? GMGP, what's going down with you, big dog? We got Jimbo in the building, MV Prof in the building. I see Jeff. I see Ty Rusher. What's going on? Who they? JRich? Who they? Man, they made us look real bad over on Bleacher Report because we both picked the Pittsburgh Steelers not to just win, but to roll Cincinnati. You had some crazy stats. Mike Tomlin on Thursday night games, undefeated, some shit like that. And Joe Flacco said, not so fast, my friend. We're going to get the dub. So we're going to talk about that and some of the other big topic items going into Sunday. But JRich, how are you, my dog?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, running a little bit late today, so apologies to the chat.
I
was the reason
it was
we
not
were
me.
A little bit late. It was
not me.
It was not Ray. It wasn't my internet. I was making something for my girlfriend, and so a little late in that regard. But yeah, Ray.
Shout out to Rhea, man. Shout out to Rhea. Does Rhea ever watch? Does she watch the show?
She does watch the show quietly.
Shout out to Rhea.
And she doesn't comment or anything. She watches it by herself. Yeah.
Okay.
But
shout out to Rhea.
Yeah, that game last night, a little concerning. And, you talked about the stat. I'll just drop it right now. So going into BR, at least on the road in Thursday night football games, Mike Tomlin was 2-9 coming into this game and 0-6 in divisional road Thursday night football games. And we said, you know what? Things are going to change for Mike Tomlin. He's going to get a win. Not so fast, my friend. Mike Tomlin now 0-7
Crazy,
in divisional road Thursday night football games. It is a ridiculous stat. It is a small sample stat, but man, when you're winless, it just does not look very good. Do not back the Steelers in divisional road Thursday night football games because apparently they are not going to hit just about ever.
No, negative. Appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate everybody being in the building. And if you missed some content over on DDFFB, Scott Connor and I did something a little different this week for the Trinity show. I recorded my own Trinity piece. He recorded his own. We didn't talk about who we were going to highlight in the episode. We just wanted to use the data. Check out the Trinity on ddfantasyfootball.com. JRich, one of the players that I highlighted going into Thursday night, I was like, hey, you might want to get you some DK Metcalf. Metcalf. 3 for 50. He had a touchdown, and that one could have had a bigger day, but it was a little not Aaron Rodgers-like. He was kind of bad, JRich, but DK Metcalf, if you started him, you still feel good about what he got you, but make sure you check that out over on DDFFB. and subscribe to the channel over there. A lot of cool stuff coming, and we got some big things in the works and in plans, Jay. But we got to talk about Thursday Night Football, JRich. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about that game. It was a good game. It was a good Thursday Night Football game. It was a very good game.
Football. I mean, Ray, was there any disappointments? Just about. I mean, DK Metcalf was really the only one that kind of disappointed because he didn't score. Only 3 for 50.
3 for 50, yeah. No score.
Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. Jaylen Warren, 127 on the ground. Chase Brown even put up 100 on the ground. And these were the two worst rushing offenses in the NFL coming into this game. They were only averaging like 56 yards a game. They're both under 60 yards a game rushing. And both starting running backs had, didn't even have that many carries in terms of Chase Brown, only 11 for 108. But then, of course, the record breaker is the story here. It's Joe Flacco getting the big dub at home with 342, 3 touchdowns, no picks, only 2 sacks. But Ja'Marr Chase, 16 receptions, Bengals franchise record, 23 targets, Ray.
Yeah, man, it's
161
crazy.
And a touchdown. What's his trendy score going to look like this week?
High.
Because
Sky
considering
high.
He's had almost a 50%, or actually an over 50% target share on the week is pretty ridiculous for Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, Chase was, 23 targets. What do you say to that? That's just absurd. It's absurd.
And 33 of 45 to Chase and Higgins, which is all you've ever wanted to see. You watch this Bengals offense, you draft Chase 101, you draft Higgins in the second round, maybe early third round as, a fringe wide receiver 1. Like, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. And it's crazy because Burrow doesn't even do this. Like, I don't even think we could really say, and feel free to correct me, I don't think we've ever seen Burrow this hyper fixated on Chase and Higgins before, at least in my memory. I can't remember it because there's a lot of games where Chase would disappear or Higgins would disappear. It's very rare that both were supported to this extent, where you're talking about 33 of 45. That's got to be upwards of 65% of all receiver targets, period, going to the top 2 options of the team. That's just absolutely absurd. And if that continues, they're wide receiver ones going forward.
What is that? 33 of 25. 33 of 45. What is that, JRich? What percentile is that? That's got to be like, I'm going to go 78%. I'm going to go 78% off.
73. 73. But still, we're talking about a
70%
70% target share of
crazy.
2 guys. Like, that's
crazy.
We talk about if a receiver has a 30% target share or a 35% target share, they are elite assets. Chase is up over 50%, and you still have Higgins sitting at like a 20% target share. So it's just like, at this rate, if this possibly continues, which, it can't possibly continue, but if it does, they're both ones.
We talked about whenever the trade happened, we said, who's this a big boost for? And we didn't think it would be a huge boost for Chase, but we also were like, it's probably a boost for Chase and nobody really else. T. Higgins has gotten a boost. T. Higgins has absolutely gotten a boost, and Ja'Marr Chase is just, this is why you don't really panic on those caliber of guys, because they're capable of just getting fed every time. And Pittsburgh's defense, to not their credit, I don't know what they were doing defensively. There was, free release off the line, just wide open. You look at his long. If I told you going into the game, Chase was going to be targeted 23 times, JRich, his long was only 18. Yeah. Didn't even have a 20-yard reception in the game. Yeah. I would say, man, if he gets 23 targets, if you told me going in, he's going to get 23 targets and catch 16 passes, I was like, oh, he went for 250, 300 yards, because that's just what Chase does. He rips off 50, 60-yarders like it's nobody's business. It's easy for him to do those things. But they took what was there. They were scared of getting beat over top. So they said, we'll just play off, and we'll just let Ja'Marr Chase catch 100 passes in the game, which, did you see the shot of Aaron Rodgers on the sideline on the final drive where he was like, dude, double cover him, bracket him, jam him, give him the Dez Bryant, Calvin Johnson treatment. You remember what they would do to Dez and Calvin Johnson whenever they started to
line up 2 guys.
2 guys on him. Just punt coverage. Just put 2 guys on him. You get the inside, you get the outside, and if Yoshi Voss or Noah Fan or whomever, they beat us, then it is what it is. It made no sense. Like, what are you doing, Pittsburgh? Like, what were you doing?
Ray, I have no idea. And it's sad because, obviously, and I'm sure one of your favorite players of all time was Jalen Ramsey back in his Florida State days, back in the Jacksonville days, and even the time on the Rams.
I am a big Ramsey fan, but my goodness.
He was getting cooked out there. And I'll be real, and I want your thoughts on this. You played defensive back.
I did play defensive back.
That was not a touchdown. That was a push-off. Because here's my issue with it. It was a push-off in the sense that, okay, if you're going to let them play, that's fine. But on the next drive, Ramsey gets called for a penalty for being a little early and wrapping around Chase to break up a pass. It's so are you letting them play and you're going to let the hand fighting and the pushing go? Or are you not? It just felt a little bit inconsistent. But what are your thoughts on that touchdown? I thought it was a pretty clear push-off personally.
I mean, receivers are gonna get that call, man.
They're
gonna get that. They're not going to call that.
They call it hand fighting, right?
They call it hand fighting.
I didn't see a whole lot of hand fighting. I saw a lot of pushing though.
The DB in me feels like that was a push off, right? Yeah. Feels like it's a push off, but the fantasy football in me is that was just they were competing for the ball. Yeah, two guys going for the ball, but I'd be pretty pissed. I'd be like, come on, man, that was a push off, but neither here nor there. He caught 16 passes. T. Higgins had 100 yards and a touchdown. And even though a fan, if you had the desperation, throw him out there, you were counting on Gesicki and you just picked up the next tight end up, 4 for 44 and a TD, you feel good from that regard. On the other side of the ball, Pat Freiermuth that had done nothing all season long. My goodness. Freiermuth balled out. The rushing attack, all that was missing was some touchdowns. And Chase Brown did get, I think it was right around the 3-yard line. They gave him a goal line attempt, and he moved it a little closer, but they couldn't score. So Jaylen Warren had a big game, 16 for 127 on the ground for Jaylen Warren. A lot of the guys, kind of delivered, and I think you feel a lot better about your Bengals moving forward. It was rocky road out there with Chase Brown for a little bit, and I'm still kind of wondering how he's not as involved in the receiving game. That's where we kind of wanted to see him go, but when you're averaging 10 yards a pop, I can't really complain about how bad he looked. Give Chase Brown some credit. He set the tone early for the game. He came out and he was running well against a very tough run defense. This Pittsburgh team, Jay, are they frauds? Because they got beaten week 1 by the Jets, and then they go on sort of this little bit of a. They beat the Jets,
defense,
but the defense. That's what I mean. The defense was not good versus the Jets. Then they go on. They win a couple of games, and it just. Are you buying into this Pittsburgh team? The AFC North is not good. Who wins this division? Who wins the division?
You know who wins it? It's Baltimore. Baltimore's 100% winning this division. 100%. Because right now they're 1-5, right? They're going to the bye, then Lamar comes back.
1-5.
And the leader in the AFC North is 4-2. It's still Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh,
right?
Yep.
Pittsburgh has to play Green Bay next week on Sunday Night Football. Now, A-Rod's going to be up for that game. We know that. But I don't know if they're going to win that game. Then they play Indy. Then they play the Chargers. And they play the Bengals again. So that alone, it's not going to be an easy stretch for them. And maybe they're 2-2. Maybe they're 3-1 somehow. But, we look at Green Bay. We know they're a strong team. We like the Colts a lot. They're a strong team. And the Chargers on the road is going to be a tough game, whether you like it or not. So the way this Steelers team is playing, and especially in particular versus the pass, going into the game, they had a really strong run defense, or at least from the opponents they played good defensively, at least against the rush, against Minnesota, against New England, and against Cleveland, right? We already kind of talked about how they neutralized Cleveland and Judkins. But it's against the pass where they've really struggled. And so when you talk about playing a Green Bay, playing an Indianapolis, playing a Chargers team, they'll probably be fully healthy outside of, obviously, Rashawn Slater by that point, it's going to be very difficult. And then to have to play Cincinnati, to play Chicago. These are all teams that can thrive passing the football and aren't as reliant on the run, depending on the team. Obviously Green Bay and Indy do. But that's where I have concerns about the team is, one, the offense is struggling. Those 2 picks from Rodgers were terrible. They were god-awful interceptions that we don't expect him to make, but, the DK Metcalf one is not really his fault. It's just a terrible play for Metcalf, really lack of effort, and the other one down the field was just what are you doing, bro? So that's where it's not that I'm concerned about the team. I just don't know what this team is. We thought they were playing much better. They weren't turning the ball over. They only had 3 going into this game. They obviously had 2 in this contest alone. So if they're going to keep playing sloppy football like we've seen, and the offense really is kind of struggling to get going at times, especially against a defense like Cincinnati, what's going to happen when you play a Green Bay, when you play in Indianapolis, when you play in LA Chargers? I think they probably should be dogs in all of those games. The only saving grace for them is that Green Bay and Indy are both at home.
Man, it's just tough for me to be like a 1-5 team is going to win the division, but my goodness.
For sure.
Listen, let's give the Bengals, they didn't have Trey Hendrickson. Defensively, we've talked about how bad this team was as a defense. Joe Flacco's come in, and he has looked light years better than anything Jake Browning could have done. And best play of the night. Best play of the night, Joe Flacco's, what was it, a 10-yard
rush, yeah.
14-yard rush? Best play of the night. That looked like an old man who wanted it bad. He wanted the first down. He wanted to get the dub. Jamar Chase balled out. T. Higgins balled out. Best play of the night, 14-yard rush by the 40-year-old Joe Flacco. I saw somebody in the chat ask me, Ray, what's the highest Trinity score ever? It won't be this one. We've only had the tool for 5 years, or this is year 6 now. I think it was Juwan Jennings. And I'm looking
massive 3 or 4 touchdown game, right?
He had 11 catches, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And I'm looking at it right now, Jay. It was a 10.37, and he scored 46.5 points. So
yeah. I do remember that. That was last year, right? That game was insane.
It was way, adjusted the screen. It was way, way, way to the right. I think that was the highest single isolated game that I've seen, or at least that I can recall.
The fact that Chase only caught 1 touchdown, the target share is insanely high, but it's got to be the player that could probably break it would be like JSN. If JSN had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns and everyone else did nothing, because that's just kind of the way that Seattle runs their offense. There's just too much else going on for him to probably be quite that high, especially considering he only had 1 touchdown.
Well, he only had 1 touchdown, and then T had 100 and a tud too. So I think maybe I can go back to Cooper Kupp.
Maybe Cooper Kupp. Maybe a Puka game was probably close to a 10. But a massive Puka game.
Jennings was over a 10. I mean, when you have 175 and 3 touchdowns on 11 receptions, you're going to be pretty freaking high. Daniel Perry said, Ray, what about the play by T to stop before scoring the TD? Did you see what Jamar Chase? They asked him if he would have done that. And I think people were wanting him to say, no, I would have scored. And he was like, yeah, I want to win games. Yes. He said, I would have slid. I want to win games. So Mike Tomlin.
That's good coaching, too, to give credit to Zach Taylor for once. We never give credit to Zach Taylor and that team, but that's coaching, right? That's talking about it in the huddle, telling the guys, look, if we make the play, make sure you go down, all that kind of stuff. But sad to see your boy Ramsey getting so hyper-targeted out there in big moments.
And Jalen Ramsey needs to move to safety. He's probably needed to move to safety for quite some time. I don't know what. He's still a good corner, but at some point you see a lot of the greats, once they get a little bit older, they transition to safety. Charles Woodson won Defensive Player of the Year when he moved from cornerback to safety because the ball hawk skills were still there. You're still a very, 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 very great defensive player, but just at a certain point, your quick twitch muscle fibers aren't moving as quick as they once did back in your rookie season in 2016 when he was with the Jags, when he was with the Rams. So
he could be a Derwin James type of player, probably.
I think he could be pretty damn good. Quick question for you, though. Following up our conversation on Wednesday, do you think there's a chance that Flacco earns another veteran opportunity? Not in Cincinnati, right? They're already talking about Burrow potentially coming back week 12, week 13, or week 14 or something like that. I saw some reports that he's targeting
mid-December.
They're targeting mid-December. That's what they've said. We'll see if Cincinnati's in it. We'll see, right?
Yeah. They might be now.
If Flacco, why does he look so much better in Cincinnati than Cleveland? Cleveland's got a better offensive line. Cleveland's got a better defense. I was thinking about this morning. Is it simply the fact that they've just got weapons and Cleveland doesn't? Is that it? Is it the scheme? Is it because he didn't just change, right? He didn't just change. He's still the same Joe Flacco. Just your opinion. What is it? What is it that has made him at least so successful in back-to-back starts here in Cincinnati opposed to what he was? I mean, he looked awful. He was the stone worst quarterback in the NFL. Him and Cam Ward duking it out for the 2 worst quarterbacks in the NFL the first 3 weeks of the season. Now it's like, shit, man. We're talking about Cincinnati winning the division.
So It's a few things for me. One, I think the playmakers play a massive role here. Not to say that they don't have talent in Cleveland, but there was definitely like continuity issues, communication issues, receivers running in the wrong spots, like all that kind of stuff. That's not the case in Cincinnati, right? Everyone else outside of Flacco knows exactly what they're doing. And I think that Flacco's a smart enough quarterback, more importantly, an experienced enough quarterback to know where the ball needs to be in certain situations. He was at the podium even talking about how like he didn't always know where the ball needed to go and which routes receivers were supposed to be running and whether they were lined up correctly. But those are the plays that kind of just worked out because what did he do? He found the guys that are open, and that's going to be Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and those are going to be the number 1 and number 2 reads like 95% of the time, unless it's a running play to Chase Brown. So I think that helps a lot. Like if you're a quarterback and you're going into Cleveland, who is the guy you throw to if a play breaks down? Right? That player doesn't exist. But on Cincinnati, it's Jamar Chase, and if it's not Jamar Chase, he's being doubled, it's T. Higgins. And I think any coach would live with that result if that's your approach to a game with short notice, unfamiliar to the team. Like, we all know how good those guys are. But in terms of longevity beyond, this season, we'll see how he plays. But I think at this point, coaches are already saying, like, man, he's probably good enough to be a backup. And if I'm Cincinnati, I want to keep him.
You want him? You want to keep him?
We've done it with Browning. Browning looked good. Now Browning sucks. He can go. Give us Joe Flacco as the backup. Let him continue to be acclimated within the offense. Now, if you're Flacco, you probably want to go somewhere else and start. And that's completely valid, and he's talked about that, and that's why he ended up in Cleveland. About that. That's why he went to Indianapolis to compete with Anthony Richardson. We know that that's kind of his mentality. So maybe he doesn't want to stay in Cincinnati. But the question really is that can he do this for multiple weeks? Right? Can he continue to find success? Is it going to be that Cleveland renaissance we saw a few years ago? Or is it going to be one good game or a couple good games, and once teams get tape on him in this new offense, are they able to figure out how to stop him once again? And I think that's the big question for Flacco is if he can answer those questions. But, I mean, schedule-wise, the Jets. I think we're all starting them against the Jets, right? The Bears. Yeah. Bears don't really scare you a whole lot. Pittsburgh again, New England, Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, Miami, Arizona, Cleveland. Like, there's not really any opportunities down the stretch where you're not going to play them. It's just when does Burrow ultimately come back? That's the biggest question because it's probably close to that Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore stretch. And I mean, if he's playing well, dude, are you even rushing Burrow back?
Yeah, if Burrow's healthy and Burrow's if Burrow's healthy and Burrow's practicing, yes, Burrow's playing. Yeah.
So, can I ask you a difficult question for me?
Sure.
Why is it that it seems like Flacco doesn't get sacked, but Joe Burrow is constantly under pressure? It's the same offensive line. But for 2 weeks now, I think Flacco was sacked 2 times as well last week. Yeah, 2 times this week. That's nothing compared to what we've seen from Joe Burrow and how much pressure he's under. So what do you think the reasoning is for that? Is Joe Burrow just waiting for that big play?
I think
some big play hunting or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think Joe's going to move around a little bit more. He's not going to, if the first or the second read isn't there. There was a play where Cincinnati they were right around the goal line, and Flacco's first read wasn't there. You see the second read wasn't there. He was rolling out right, and then he just threw it out of bounds. Just threw it out of bounds. He's like, fuck it, ain't nothing there. Burrow probably would have been like, I'm finding somebody, right? Somebody's open. I think it's his confidence and his skill set and his ability to win when the X's and O's break down. Whereas Joe Burrow's like, look, I'm going to play on schedule. I mean, Joe Flacco's like, I'm going to play on schedule. If the first or the second read in there, I'm getting it out. I know I can't sit back here. I can't take sacks. I know where I want to go. I'm not looking at anybody other than number 1. If number 1 isn't there, I'm looking at number 5. And if 5 ain't there, I'm getting it out. I think that's part of the reason why. But it's a good observation that he has not been beaten up the way that Joe Burrow was
expected, right?
Right, we expected him, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, with how bad the offensive line is discussed and how ridiculed they are on a weekly basis and how they don't protect Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of doing a good, adequate enough job with Flacco.
They're doing a great. Right? They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job.
Better than we expected.
They're doing a great job. No doubt about it. Anything else from this one, JRich? Oh man, I don't know what that is. Anything else from this one, Jay?
So wholesale takeaways on this game really for me is, are we buying into Chase Brown going forward? He was one of the least efficient running backs in the NFL coming into this game. It was obviously a huge breakout game for him, but on limited volume. Like, we have to admit that. It wasn't like he just had a ton of opportunities. It was still only 11 carries, but did go over 100 yards, so we're happy about that. But would you say you're buying into Chase Brown going forward, or are you kind of hesitant to say, like, look, it was one good game, I still think it's still the Chase and Higgins show, though?
I honestly think that Joe Flacco did enough to where they're going to have to honor that. If he's just going to go out there and throw the ball to Chase and Higgins like that, defenses are going to have to play that more honest. And you saw Chase Brown be a beneficiary just with big rushing lanes. So buying into him, I don't know if
there's good things ahead for Chase Brown, right? Like, that's
I'm fine with him.
I think we're all fine with Chase. We're fine with Higgins. If you got to start Flacco, you start him.
Yeah, I'm fine with Brown. I'm fine with it.
Would you be comfortable with Chase Brown kind of going forward? Would you even buy into Chase Brown going forward?
Yeah, I'm fine with him. Because
the schedule
I just want to be careful with how I frame this. Like, going out and sending first-round picks to get Chase Brown, probably not. But if somebody is a little bearish, if somebody's a little skittish, I wouldn't mind getting some Chase Brown. He looked good. He looked good last night for the first time, since week one. Yeah, he looked pretty damn good, Jay. But let's talk about Rashee Rice and the Kansas City Chiefs this game on Sunday versus the Raiders, Jay. There was a lot of rumor and speculation swirling around Raiders wide receiver, what's his name, Jakobi Meyers? Jakobi Meyers potentially being on the move. Nothing has happened yet. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, Jay, on the Raiders side of the ball, I kind of like Trey Tucker. You're
in. You're buying in now.
I bought in, what was it, last year? I pumped up Trey Tucker last year, and then I was a year too early. Never wrong, just a year too early.
Yeah.
But he's their most explosive option. And there are a couple of people
receiving too.
There are a couple of people that I follow that cover the Raiders team, and they said he's their best guy. They said he's their best option. I know people are excited about Jack Besh's snap share and route participation, and I know people want Deontay Thornton to be this big play downfield threat, and Brock Bowers isn't 100%. I kind of like Trey Tucker this week, and in a game in which I think they're going to be behind. I think they're going to be trailing in this one.
Probably.
Feels like it's going to be a lot of catch-up for the Raiders. I like Trey Tucker. I talked about him on the Trinity show. Like, if I can get him as a throw-in in a deal, I'm not going out there and sending anything crazy for Trey Tucker, but in a game in which I think Kansas City's going to go out there and be humming on all cylinders. From the Raiders side of the ball in this matchup, Ashton Jeanty, probably a lot of tough sledding, but you're rolling him out there. You're going to start Ashton Jeanty. I like Trey Tucker a lot for this Raiders team. He's a big play threat. He's explosive. He's got the trust of Geno Smith. Geno has not played good football this season, but
no.
Again, in this matchup where they're going to be behind and probably playing catch-up, I like Trey Tucker, dude.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. And I did want to bring up some added context to that point. When they get blown out, it's kind of been Trey Tucker games. He's been the guy that kind of, for whatever reason, gets the opportunities. I mean, you look at the Washington game, that was his massive breakout game. 9 targets, 8 receptions, 145, 3 touchdowns when he was wide receiver 1 on the week. But even when they lost 40-6 to Indy, he had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 62 yards. And then the game where they obviously beat Tennessee 5-4-5 with 70 yards. So it's not that I don't buy into Tucker, but I'm curious, like, whether or not this team in Kansas City actually tries to stop him in this game.
Probably not.
Because if Casey gets up a lot, again, like if we see another 40-6 type of game or a 41-24 like we saw against Washington, which is what's being projected with the spread being at 12.5, then he'll probably see anywhere between 6 to 10 targets in this game and be more than fine. In those games that I mentioned, 9 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, like, those are the good games. It's the close games. In the Chicago game, the New England game, again, a very close game. There was also rating in that game. And the Charger game, he saw a lot of targets, but not a whole lot of receptions in terms of what he actually delivered. But, yeah, if it's a blowout and Geno's just slinging that thing again, why not some Trey Tucker as a flex play this week?
Yeah, people are saying that Jakobi is gone. Walt is a big Raiders fan. He said Jakobi is gone on Monday. He is not practicing. I think he was at some basketball game the other day for some team. Yeah, he was at, I forgot which NBA thing it was, but he was at some basketball game the other day, and people were like, oh, that's where he's getting moved to. Hell, it might have been I don't know who it was, Jay, but I saw the tweet, JRich. But do you care? Like, Jakobi Meyers gets traded to where? The Giants? People are saying he's going to the Giants. I mean,
okay, that's good for your Jackson Dart shares, right?
Sure. Yeah, good for Dart. How good do you think it is for Myers? I don't
I think any receiver that goes to the Giants could be their number one.
That should be the expectation, but
right, like even if it's Jacoby, why can't he be the number one ahead of Wandale? He absolutely could be. It's just, are you buying into that? And I don't know if I'm buying into it.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know if I'm paying that price. Whatever happens, happens. If I got him, I'm holding.
Exactly.
I'm not someone's really excited, I'll sell him.
I will sell his ass. But I'm not. I'm not rushing. Kansas City favored by 12.5. Good night. Good night.
They're covering.
You think they're covering?
Yeah. I think they're covering. It's a massive spread, and Casey never covers massive spreads, but I don't know, man. I think this game could be a little bit different.
Tucker or Sterling Shepard?
Shep.
Really? With Mike Evans back?
Don't care. That's actually probably better for Shepard.
I'm going to go Trey Tucker over Sterling Shepard.
Only because the Lions secondary is in shambles right now. They have like no defensive backs. They're all hurt. And your boy Branch?
Yeah, he's suspended. Suspended for a game.
Like their only really good defensive back who's healthy is suspended, and everyone else is like banged up or hurt or even out. So
yeah,
I like Baker in the matchup. A lot of people think Detroit can blow them out, and if Detroit does put up a lot of points, that's great for Sterling Shepard as well.
JRich, let's talk about your team and your boy, the New England Patriots, and Drake Maye. JRich, they get the Tennessee Titans. We don't got to talk a lot about this game, but I do want to speak about the quarterbacks. Do you think Drake Maye continues his hot stretch against this Titans defense that has not been very good? JRich has not been a very good defense. Drake Maye playing like an MVP caliber candidate this season. What are your thoughts about him and who gets it going from the pass catchers? It's sort of been a seesaw, right? Butte. Is it Butte or Booty? Like, what is the
Booty? Apparently,
is it really
call him
okay?
Butte, but
we always call him Butte. All right, Kayshon Boutte started out the season hot. We were excited about that. Then it was kind of Hunter Henry and nobody else. Then it was Stephon Diggs and nobody else. And then last week, it was a lot of Kayshon Boutte. Where do you think Drake Maye goes in this matchup? I kind of feel like it's a bounce back for Diggs, who he didn't do anything last week. He didn't do anything. And I think that is more blip and speed bump than trend. I don't anticipate him. I mean, he had one catch called back. It was like a long 30-something yard catch down the right sideline called back because of the push-off, right? The DB got the DB got the call. But where are you at with the New England pass catchers? A lot of people, it's like you want to start somebody because Drake, I mean, look at Drake Maye on the season. How many incompletions does he have? He's 131 for 179. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He only has like 40 incompletions on the season?
Yeah, he's balling this season. He's completing 73% of his passes.
Jeez.
10 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Like, what's crazy, Ray, is he only threw in 13 games for 2,200 yards last season, and he already has 1,500.
Wow.
Like, when you ask me who do I start, I think the answer for me is still Kayshon Boutte. Like, because he's the outside wide receiver, because he's the downfield threat, I just don't know what they're going to do week to week. Even Hunter Henry, like, he's been unstartable since, like, week 3.
He's been, what happened to him?
It's just this team and especially this attack, and we have kind of seen it in McDaniels' offenses before. He tends to pick a guy in a game plan, and it's just that guy's game. Whether it's a Hunter Henry game, a Stephon Diggs game like it was against the Bills, or it's a Kayshon Boutte game, like it just tends to be that way where there is a guy, and that's going to be the focus of the offensive game plan that week. But against the Titans, man, it could be anybody. It could be Diggs. It could be Boutte. And
he said it could be anybody.
And that's the hard part. And what's crazy, honestly, is I think that Vrabel is sick enough in the head to try and establish it in this game and just give Ramondre like 25.
No pop.
I can't buy into Pop. It was a good game from Pop. I was happy for him because he'd done nothing so far this season.
Nothing.
Basically.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, for me, it would be Boutte, number one, but I do not trust him. You know, Steven's asking start Boutte or Trey Tucker. It's Trey Tucker. I believe more in the consistent volume and the floor.
Hold on. So you would start Sterling Shepard over Trey Tucker, but then Trey Tucker over Kayshon Boutte.
Yes. Shep, Tucker, Boutte. And it's not because, again,
you've got no trust. You've got no trust then.
I have no belief in a floor for Boutte. I have no belief in a floor really for any Patriots pass catcher. I think that's the question you're asking.
Okay.
Is who's going to be the guy this week? My answer is I genuinely have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know the best way to attack this Titans defense. I don't know who they're going to pick. I believe in Maye to have a great game against this Titans defense because they're not very good. But if you're asking me to pick a guy, I would pick Booty to be the guy that I would choose as my number one most startable player. But I don't trust in the floor to where I'd say I'd start over guys I think have a more stable floor with a ceiling mix.
So you feel like it's all or nothing. Either you're getting a dope game from him or you're getting a stank-ass game. There's no in-between.
Basically what he's done most of the year, right? It's been all or nothing for
Francis. Could it finally be Hendo?
Look, I don't want to say.
Real talk, man. Let's, Jay, at what point are you just like, This dude is just not who we thought he was going to be. That doesn't mean his career's over. Doesn't mean he can't be a serviceable. I'm trying to go back, and I'm going back to 2020. We had Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Dobbins.
Do you want me to give you the comp that I just thought of right now that I absolutely hate?
Let's hear it.
You know who Trayvon Henderson is trending towards right now?
Who?
Cam Akers.
Talk about it.
And so that's what it's like when I just think about it, right? Second round pick, supposed to be this phenomenal talent. Everyone said the draft class was loaded with running back talent, and he goes to a great spot, great offense, and he just never plays. Never plays. And we're all wondering, when's this guy going to play? When's this guy going to play? When's this guy going to play? Once he gets the ball, once he becomes the bell cow, he's be a great running back. Now, he did get injured, and so that plays a factor as well. But, like, I believe Darrell Henderson was still running ahead of him. And we all said, how is Darrell Henderson still running ahead of him? This guy stinks. And he just never played. He just never, ever played. And I don't know what the issue is. And I don't want to say he's going to end up like Cam Akers. But that, like, it's very similar. Like, Cam Akers was great in pass pro. And he was a great receiver out of the backfield. And obviously he was a dope running back as well. Like, he had the whole profile. He had reasonable draft capital. And he just never really played. And we never really found out a reason why. It just never really came about for him. And it could go that way for Trayvon Henderson. But at the same time, like, I just don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe that this is going to be his fate. Like, he has to have a opportunity to start. And then Jorge's saying he did have a good playoff run. And yes, he did have a good playoff run, but that doesn't count for us in fantasy football. And it certainly didn't count the following season when he didn't have a massive role in the offense. So that's kind of the big scare here. People were saying CJ Spiller. We see Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson
fired, man.
No, he had one good season. He had one good. Go look it up. Kerryon had one. I think he had one. I'm gonna look it up right now. I think Kerryon had one good season, JRich, because people bought into him. He's still on Philadelphia. What?
No, he can't still be on.
No, it says Philadelphia when I looked at it. He's on no team. I think he had. I think Kerryon had one good year. I'm going to his stats right now. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you went lukewarm real quick. It was like 800 yards.
Yeah, it was a rookie year. He had 641, 3 touchdowns, and
600 yards.
And then he had 32 receptions for 213. So people were buying into, like, okay.
It was in 10 games though. To be fair to him.
That's what I'm saying. It was in 10 games. He was averaging 5 yards a carry. He only fumbled one time. He had 32 receptions on 39 targets. Like, that 2018 season, people were like, oh man, and you know how I know? Because I wasn't making content then. And shout out to, because I love these dudes and they are supporters of us, but the FF Ballers, Andy and Jason and Mike, I remember they had that song that they kept pumping up that Kerryon Johnson. Like they loved Kerryon Johnson. I'm like, shit, man, he might be something, but yeah, I don't
trust those Auburn running backs.
Just
this year, though,
Cadillac and Ronnie Brown were okay. Cadillac was pretty good. Cadillac and Ronnie Brown were pretty good.
They were good.
They were good.
Dude, you're throwing it way back with Ronnie.
Well, you said Auburn running backs. You said Auburn running backs. So I'm just
throwing it way back. Jarquez Hunter? Huh?
Cadillac Williams was very good. The injuries took a toll on him.
Cadillac was sick.
And he got drafted after Ronnie Brown, who was the kind of the backup. It was a weird situation. It was kind of like a Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, a Josh Jacobs, and Alabama as that backup running back. But yeah, those two were good Auburn running backs. But all right, Jay, where we want to go next? What do you want? It's Friday. Yeah. Jordan said Jason was obsessed with Kerryon Johnson. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to the FF Ballers. Jay, where you want to go next? What game you want to talk about next? Just, I got to close the blind. The sun is on GQ's eyes right now. It is shining bright. Here's a question before we go to break. What happens?
Bo Jackson.
What happens? Who? Bo Jackson.
Tank Bigsby. Let's go.
Tank Bigsby. What happens when the Carolina Panthers travel to the Jets and beat them at home? What happens? What happens?
If you want to talk about that game, we will go into that game. Okay.
I want to talk about what happens to Aaron Glenn, who is doubling down on his Fields. He is tripling down on Justin Fields. That there's no way. He said you don't bench a guy after one bad game. Y'all are
one bad game.
I'll give you credit, Jay. You have not liked coaches that just kind of talk all the time. And Aaron Glenn talks a big game. He's yet to walk one. I've yet to see him walk a game at all. He talks a big game. He hasn't done anything. The defense is no good. The offense is an abomination. They're not going to. I want to know how the hell you're picking the Jets to win this game with no Garrett Wilson, no quarterback. I know what you're going to try to hit me with. Well, Carolina on the road, they're 1-17. Bryce can't win on the road. He's at home. How on earth do they beat the Carolina Panthers in this one? Who Chuba Hubbard is back. Chuba's back. Apparently, he's going to be.
That's a good thing for the Jets, actually.
Okay, talk about it.
If you think that Chuba Hubbard coming back is a bad thing for the Jets, I think you're not paying attention to what's been going on. So here's my case to the people. It's not that I would be betting the Jets to win, because I'm certainly not going to do that. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But there is something to be said about a team that is just on the ropes in every stretch. They've been getting torched in the media like crazy. Aaron Glenn's been under fire. People are already saying he should be fired. There's been people talking about how this is the worst head coaching debut in NFL history. And to be honest, it's hard to argue that in a lot of ways. Kurt Warner just put out a tweet the other day talking about how offensive-minded head coaches should be the way going forward. And, you and I have had conversations about this as well, how, I don't understand how owners, GMs, whoever, hire defensive coordinators as head coaches ever, at all. And not to say they shouldn't get jobs or they're not deserving at some point. There's certainly candidates that deserve it. But if you're trying to groom and develop a young quarterback, why on earth would you hire a defensive coordinator? Or you're trying to turn around your franchise and probably draft a quarterback in the future or have a young quarterback on the roster. Why would you have a defensive coordinator? Because so many times we have situations where you get a young quarterback and you have a defensive coordinator, there's just nothing to show for it. And they don't develop and they get fired and they get the offensive guy and all is well after that. So in the case of this game in particular, yes, Bryce Young on the road is dreadful. He is 1-17 on the road. This team is significantly worse on the road. Go and look at their home games versus their road games. They are 0-3 on the road. They are 3-0 on the season at home. Now, the Jets are awful. They are 0-6. They're 0-4 at home, which is crazy to think they've already had 5 home games in 7 weeks. Think of what's going to happen to them when they start going on the road later on in the year. But they do have Breece Hall. They still have Justin Fields. And I think those two players alone can potentially win a game that's going to be really gross from the start. It's going to be a low total. It probably goes under. And I do think the defense will rise to the occasion for their coach in this game because it's Carolina. If it was a better team where they'd feel intimidated, they feel overmatched, I'd say, okay, they're probably going to lose. But this is one of their few spots in the rest of their schedule where they can actually have a chance of getting a victory playing against a team that just came off a win and maybe looking past the Jets a little bit in this game. If you're the Carolina Panthers, you have no right to be looking past anybody.
I don't.
But the Jets are. You don't think?
Why do you think Why do you think the Panthers are looking past the Jets?
Because they just beat the Dallas Cowboys and they have the Bills next week.
What does beating the Dallas Cowboys have to do with anything? That team stinks too.
Because
they stink, and everyone knows it. They do stink. They do stink. They do stink.
Their defense is awful.
The team stinks. The team
Their
stinks.
defense is awful, but they don't stink. And they're not an easy team to beat. But they're not an easy team to beat. They're not an easy team to beat.
Dude, the Panthers just beat them. Yes, they are. Yeah, doesn't matter.
But
they can't stop it. They can't stop
the Falcons 30-0. But guess what? On the road, they lost 26-10 to the Jags. They lost 27-22, and that game should have been a lot worse to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals stink. And then they got absolutely smacked in the face by the Patriots 42-13. This team does not play well on the road. You can't just look at what they've done in home games because they beat the Dolphins. Congratulations. You beat the Falcons somehow. No one even understands how they beat the Falcons that bad. And they barely beat the Cowboys, who we know their defense is very suspect. And that's one of the reasons why you can beat them and at least stay close in these games. But I do think the Jets are going to get a win. I know it's crazy. I know it sounds ridiculous, especially with Garrett Wilson being injured and not practicing. But I do think this is one of the few games on the Jets schedule they can actually win. And people will take the Panthers, but like there's so many reasons to think they can't win, from Bryce Young's road record to the Panthers not winning 3 straight games since 2022. Like there's so many stats that back the fact that like the Panthers are just playing too well right now. They're probably going to fall back down to earth, especially on the road. And I think it could have come this week against the Jets.
Against the Jets. You think Bryce gets extended?
So I don't think he's going to get extended, but do you think he should get extended?
I think he's going to. I think he's going to get extension. Yeah.
What type of extension would you see for Bryce Young, though?
A Tua-level deal?
It's
just what else?
Tua-level deal.
I mean,
nah, bro. There's no way.
He's 24 years old. And
that doesn't matter.
It does matter. In the late game.
He's been benched 3 times.
No, he's not been benched 3 times.
Oh, sorry. He's only been benched twice.
He's been benched 1 time, dude.
No, he's been benched twice.
He's been benched with Canales. He's been benched with Canales once.
Did he get benched with Rule?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this regime. I'm not. Listen to me. I'm not saying he's goddamn Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow or any of these guys. But to give a quarterback and like, you think they're just gonna let him walk? You think they're just going to let him walk out the building? Nope, you just go. They're going to give him a deal, dude.
The Patriots let Mac Jones walk.
No, man, that was a whole bunch of shit going on with Mac Jones. A whole bunch, and it's not. They're going to give him a deal. I will guarantee you that.
Okay, you can guarantee it all you want, but what does the deal look like?
Who cares? I didn't ask you how. I didn't ask you how much money he was going to get. Was he going to break? All I said was, do they extend him? You said no.
Why are you asking the question then? If it doesn't matter what the length of the extension is, if it doesn't matter what the money is, then why are you asking the question? Because the whole reason you ask the question is because you're projecting, do you foresee some long-term security in Carolina for Bryce Young? That should be the question.
So an extension gives you that, right?
No, it doesn't. Do we talk about Sam Darnold's long-term security right now in Seattle? No, because he's on a 1-year guaranteed deal.
Because he's on a 1-year deal, so what is there to talk about long-term with him?
So at the end of this season, we're going to find out how they feel about Bryce Young because they're going to have to either pick up or turn down his 5th-year option, right? And if they extend him to a contract, that's why I'm asking you, what does that extension
look like? What quarterback are they going
to
get? Who do they bring in? They let Bryce.
They could bring in anybody. Okay, they could bring in Mac Jones following the 26th season, or they could potentially try and bring him in.
You just said Mac Jones couldn't get an extension. Now they're going to bring him in?
All I said is that the Patriots didn't even extend Mac Jones, and look at how he looks, right? I'm not saying Bryce Young can't be better somewhere else, but I don't know if he's shown enough to be worthy of an extension, especially the likes that you're talking about. Tua has an extension with like 3 years guaranteed and like I think $140 million. Bryce Young has not even earned that yet. Tua has shown flashes where he can be a great quarterback at times. Now we know his limitations, but Bryce Young's limitations, at least currently, are far worse than we've ever seen from Tua because Tua is limited. But I don't think you'd say the same. He has the same limitations that Tua does because Tua has shown much higher highs than Bryce Young has so far. He may have a good season, and he's trending towards that with the way that they're playing right now. But his home road splits are extremely concerning if you're a team, and especially like I understand you think he gets extended, but there's some level of extension has to be factored in here. Because if you think he gets Sam Darnold's deal, I'd be like, okay, yeah, why not? Give him an extra year. Give him the Jordan Love 2-year deal. Rip up the 5th year. Give him the 2-year deal. Then go from there. But that's much different than saying he gets a Tua deal where he's locked in for like 3 years.
Look, everybody's saying he doesn't deserve it. Did Trevor fucking Lawrence deserve a contract extension? I'm just asking, not you. Did T-Law deserve a contract extension? Did Justin Fields deserve what he got?
Yes, the way that he played.
What?
Bro, dude, they got rid of him. What do you mean? He didn't get an extension. He got a new contract in New York. Was it a 2-year deal in New York? That's what I'm not, but that's different. That's different than, again, giving a quarterback a 2-year contract is much different than extending your already bad quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, fair point. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, it's a different situation. It's a very different situation. Because a 1-year prove-it deal, a 2-year prove-it deal like the Jets gave Fields, like they're fucking morons.
This idea that you could just go replace and find is very, very misguided.
Okay.
I think it's a very, just you, but this idea that, just let him go. No, we could just, we'll go draft Lenora Sellers. We'll go draft Garrett Nussmeier and everything is going to be okay.
I'm not saying it's going to be okay, but why on earth would you pay Bryce Young the amount of money that you're talking about when you can draft a quarterback
deserve the
who
extension?
Can be just as bad?
What?
I wouldn't say that.
He deserved the extension, but not the money.
They had to extend him. They had to extend him because they suck. And he's not that bad. He was bad, but he was not that bad. So my whole point with Bryce Young is if you want to extend him at $40 million a year, it's just not great for cap purposes. You might as well play that roulette game with a potentially bad Lenora Sellers or a potentially bad rookie quarterback because at least you're saving the money to continue to build up the roster. And then at that point, you can go out and try and find maybe a better quarterback than you currently have. But I just don't know if paying Bryce Young makes a lot of sense. Because at that cap number, depending on what it is, he's not going to deliver enough to where he is above replacement level at a rookie level deal. That's all my point is with Bryce Young.
All right. Well, we still got a couple of games to talk about. Let's hit the break. Let's hit the break. Run the likes up for us, good people, and then JRich and I will argue about some more mediocre quarterbacks. Hey, we got a big boost in LA. I want to get your thoughts on what happens with the Chargers. QJ is back. Looks like Joe Alt is also back. JRich, Lad McConkey said, I do this. I run this shit. Throw me the ball. You saw Lad? Lad was like, I do this. I do this. Give me the ball. We'll see who's going to do it here in week 7. Hit the thumbs up button after the break. Much love. Welcome back to the show. Wake up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts at. That way, if you can't make it live, you're a little too tired, a little too sleepy, you can listen to us on the replay. Check out all the fantasy football content on DDFFB on YouTube. Dynasty Deal show tonight for our members over there live this evening with Shane Scott and Ty DeClaire. JRich, we got a lot to talk about. We were talking that you wanted to go to this Giants-Broncos game. You want to go Giants-Broncos?
I do, yeah, because you made me explain why I picked Carolina.
Okay.
And so now you have to explain why you picked the Giants. What do you mean, Why not?
Well, I don't want to. I explained it on Wednesday. It's nothing but vibes, man. Nothing but vibes. No, I think the Giants have a shot. It's just this is what we do. Football is such the results really do humble you because I don't believe anybody picked Cincinnati to win last night. I don't think a soul picked the Giants to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I just look at this Broncos team. They're playing at home. They're undefeated at home. Like, Bo Nix has been fine, but it's really the J.K. Dobbins show. And defensively, they got a dope defense, right? And I think the defense is going to put a lot of pressure on the Giants. I believe they are on pace currently to break the NFL sack record right now in Denver. Benito and Allen and those guys causing all kinds of chaos for opposing quarterbacks. But the team just doesn't scare me. It doesn't feel as dominant as we thought Denver might be coming into the season. like Nick's hasn't been bad, but he also hasn't been great. I think this is it's a fine second year. Like he's been okay. Bo Nix, for the most part, fantasy wise, he's been, I mean, he hasn't completely.
He's been a little below average, unfortunately, for Denver.
I think they're gonna have a tough time dealing with the Giants' run game. I do. I do think that.
I think so. Okay.
Andrew Thomas being on the field with New York is a big difference. That's a big upgrade. Without Andrew Thomas, and I know it's just one player, but without him, the line is a wreck every single time. But with Andrew Thomas on the field, that's one of the best left tackles in football. So I do give the Giants a chance on the road. And I know Dart so far in his career on the road, he's had one road game so far versus the Saints, and they lost that game.
Was it 4 or 5 turnovers in that game?
Yeah, it was not good collectively, but I think they can find success against Denver. I trust the running game. Doesn't seem like anybody's been able to slow that down for the most part, and it may look like they're doing a good job of it for 2 or 3 quarters, but they'll just keep chopping wood. They're going to keep handing the ball to number 44. Dart's going to run the ball. I think they got a shot to upset Denver in Denver, Jay, and if that happens, I mean, we've been talking about Dayball and all these coaches that could be fired. I kind of feel like his damn job is safe. Especially if they're going to let him trade future capital to bring in a receiver.
Yeah.
I give him a shot in this one, man. I know nobody thinks that they could win. There's no chance. There's no way they could beat them. I don't know, man. And then the Giants defense, at least their defensive front, causing a lot of pressure. Burns, Abdul Carter may not be getting home with the sacks, but he's played damn good football as a rookie. Now, secondary is a different issue, right? If I were Sean Payton and the Denver offensive coordinator, I'd be throwing the ball deep. I'd be throwing the ball deep and challenging them vertically. But I think if they keep the game, listen, the sorry-ass Jets could have won that game, completing 9 passes. They should have won the game, completing 9 passes and getting sacked 10 times in the game. I'm not giving them a -7.5 point, underdog, pretty much like chance to win. I think the Giants can get it done versus Denver.
Yeah, it'll be whether or not they get home, right? Like that's the big question is, one, how does Dart navigate the pressure? You talked about Denver and how they lead the NFL in sacks with 30, and the number 2 team in the NFL right now is the Steelers, who have only played 6 games to their credit and only have 22 sacks. So that's just the level right now that you've seen from this Denver defense and how much pressure they're generating on a weekly basis. You talked about the rushing attack for the Giants. Denver only allows 89 rushing yards per game. Now, they haven't played the greatest opponents, but they even did hold down the Jets that we know is a similar style, right? They're going to run with Breece Hall. They're going to run with Fields. And you're going to see basically the exact same thing from the Giants. They're going to run with the quarterback and the running back, and we'll see what happens there. But it's all going to come down to is how well does Bo Nix navigate that pressure? Because I think the game for me that tells me there is potential with Nix beyond what we've seen this season, because the Philly game wasn't very good. The game in London wasn't very good. He showed up at the end of the Philly game, but it's that Chargers game that I always look back to, and I was like, man, if he hit a couple of those big throws in that Chargers game, I think they would be flying right now, because I think the confidence would be there. I think Peyton's confidence in his ability to deliver on some of those big plays, like that's what we're going to see from this Denver team is can you get Cortland Sutton going? He only had 1 catch last week, and he's playing against this bad Giants defense, or at least the bad secondary. So it'll be all depending on how they navigate that pressure. I do have Denver winning. I think they can cover as well. It'll just be depending on how Dart navigates the pressure on his end and how Bo does it on his end, because that's, I think, going to be the key to this game is which defensive line plays a little bit better. And then, of course, the turnovers, right? If we see a similar outcome like we saw in the Saints game, then yeah, Denver's probably going to win by like 30 points. But if they can keep the turnovers under wraps and Dart doesn't make too many mistakes, ultimately, I think it's going to be a close game. But Bo is 8-2 at home, does play a little bit better at home than on the road. So I do think Denver has a great shot, and only 7.5 points allowed so far per game on this season for the Denver Broncos. So definitely playing much better at home than on the road.
Yeah, and you're right. Nix has been a little below average. He's QB 19 on the season. He's QB 19 in scoring. You were probably drafting him at QB 10, so definitely
he's top 12, probably for sure.
Yeah, he was top 12, right there at it. Where's Trevor at right now? Where's he at? QB what? QB what is T-Law? Yeah, I'm about to go.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, look up T-Law. Ingram getting involved. Bo is him. I wouldn't say Bo is him. JB.
Bo he needs to be more consistent. You wanted to see Trevor.
Where's he at?
Trevor and Nix are right at the same spot. So Nix is at 16.2. Trevor is at 15.7 per game. 15.7 per game. But they're way down there. I'm at ESPN, so they don't have the numbers listed. But they're below CJ Stroud. They're that bad.
All right. Where we going? Chicago, New Orleans. You want to talk Dallas, Washington, Chargers?
I'm going to go to the Chargers if you want.
Let's go Philly. Philly, Minnesota. You said you want to touch on Philly, Minnesota, right?
Yes. I want to know where the chat is at on Philly, Minnesota, because I kind of think this is a great bounce back spot for Philly. One of the main reasons why: Quinyon Mitchell practicing in full, Jalen Carter practicing, Jordan Davis practicing, Landon Dickerson practicing. Right? So those are massive additions on the defensive line, which the rushing attack has struggled. And of course, in the secondary, which is massive for them, getting their number one cornerback and fully healthy, along with Landon Dickerson on the offensive line. It's also a great opportunity for them to run the football effectively. I don't know if Flores is going to stack the box against Saquon or not. I think that'd be a bit of a mistake. But if they don't do that, it could be a great opportunity for them to run the football as well. So I think that Saquon could have a big game here. Hurts as well is 7-0 versus the NFC North, which is interesting because that is a crazy stat. So he has never lost to the NFC North, but off a bye, Minnesota is 2-1, or at least Kevin O'Connell is 2-1 off of a bye. So we'll see how they play. But Ray, who do you think starts in this game? Because McCarthy is limited practicing. He said his ankle's not good enough to go.
He said that?
Yeah, he said he's not 100%, and they're probably going to err on the side of caution, so he's probably not going to play. Wentz has been practicing, though, but he is banged up as well. And then I forget who the other guy is that people thought may have played.
Was it Brosmer? Max Brosmer? I liked him in preseason. He was fun. He was fun to watch in preseason. Probably. But
how do you feel about a Wentz revenge game?
It's probably Wentz. Probably Wentz. If McCarthy already said,
I don't like Wentz against this defense. I think he'll do something royally stupid.
Probably, but that's the Carson Wentz experience. He probably will, but what you want him to do is throw the ball to Jefferson, throw the ball to Addison, and he will do that. I've got full confidence in Jefferson at 450 yards this season, and he's had, a rookie quarterback.
That's the other side of it is, how do you feel about McCarthy and Jefferson when McCarthy comes back?
I mean, we got to see McCarthy play. How many games did he play before he got hurt? One? Two?
I think.
Two games? And he had, 2 good quarters in 2 games? He had a good...
He had 300 passing yards combined. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like...
He only threw the ball 21 times against Atlanta and 20 times against Chicago.
I don't know, man. I don't think anybody can definitively say what they feel like they've gotten or got in McCarthy. Like I don't know. Where would you guess? I mean, we saw him play his first game. He was awful in the first half. Awful. I mean, everybody that
3 quarters.
Awful for 3 quarters. Everybody that pumped up that McCarthy, their assholes was tight week 1 till that fourth quarter, and even in the fourth quarter he completed 6 passes. Something like that. It wasn't like he went ape shit.
Nuclear,
It wasn't. He got the ball downfield, and then he played the second game, and then he's been out. I don't really know, Jay. I can't call it with McCarthy. Honestly, I just want to see. I want to see him play. I absolutely want to see him play. But right now, you got more confidence in JJ McCarthy or Jackson Dart?
Oh, Jackson Dart for sure. For sure, Jackson Dart. But is anyone out there worried about when McCarthy comes back? Because obviously Jefferson's been great with Wentz. We've been liking what we've been seeing from Wentz, at least in terms of delivering the ball to the pass catchers. You're probably not going to get that with McCarthy. And so that's, I think, the problem for some people is that you were a little bit slow starting with Jefferson, and obviously Addison was suspended. Wentz comes in, starts lighting it up in terms of throwing for a lot of passing yards, and whether they're winning or not, we don't care. It's about scoring fantasy points for a lot of people. And whether Jefferson can be supported by McCarthy, and especially with Addison back now, so we'll see how that all goes. I tend to think it could be tough sledding, and the Minnesota schedule is actually very good, I believe, for pass catchers.
I'll just say I agree with you. I picked Philly. I like this game for Philly. The last 2 weeks have been Saquon Barkley's lowest rushing output as far as volume. I think he had 6 carries last week, and then it was 11 carries or something low like that, 12 carries the week before. They try to throw the ball and it doesn't work. They've lost back-to-back games. And in back-to-back games, Saquon Barkley touched the ball the fewest times of the season in back-to-back games. They got to run him. Landon Dickerson is healthy. You got to run. And he looks fine. Even in the last game, he started out, 20-something yard run the first carry, another.
17-yard carry, and then an 18-yard carry, and 5 yards a carry against Denver, and 4.8 against the Giants. But only combined 18 carries for 88 yards.
In 2 games.
In those 2 games combined.
I just don't think that this is an offense that needs to throw the ball. I don't know who the OC is.
Kevin Patula.
Dude, just run the football. Like, I get it. You're going to piss off A.J. Brown. You're going to have to answer questions. You're going to have to deal with it. But having Hurts drop back and throw the ball 38 times is suboptimal. That's just, I don't believe that's how they're going to win. And this Minnesota rush defense is not good. They're allowing, I think, top 6, bottom 6 in the NFL in yards, or they're one of the worst teams, yards per carry to the running back.
They're 140 yards a game.
You run the ball. Especially if Brian Flores is going to blitz and try to make life uncomfortable or hurt, you invite rushing lanes. Give Saquon Barkley the ball, who has also been a bit of he has been a disappointment from a fantasy perspective, especially a guy that was going number 1 overall, number 2, number 3 overall in drafts. You got to run the damn ball, man. So I do think this is
the perfect team. This is the perfect team to play if you're Philly. They allow 157 passing yards a game, which is second best in the NFL.
Correct.
And we don't even want Hurts to pass the ball anyways. But they are bottom 10 with 132 rushing yards allowed per game. So the game script is run the football against the Vikings.
Run the ball.
That is the key to success. Don't even try and pass it. And if you're Philly, why the hell would you? That's not how you win football games. So just run the ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's talk LAC. LAC and Indy. LAC and Indy. Looks like Justin Herbert's going to have his left tackle back. Joe Alt's been practicing, right?
Yep, Joe Alt is back to practice. I haven't seen confirmation as to whether or not he's going to play, but obviously a massive boost for them if he does ultimately end up playing and practicing. Bradley Bozeman is questionable. So is Trey Pipkins and Joe Alt, but all have been at practice throughout the week. So hopefully we get some reports of full practices today. And then on the other side, the Indian side, we'll see if Charvarius Ward clears concussion protocol and Kenny Moore is also questionable.
Did you see?
I didn't see the clip of him getting hit.
Oh man,
was it bad hit?
It was Xavier Worthy-esque. It was Xavier Worthy-esque, and it's like from afar, like sky view because it was up high, I guess, recording the pregame stuff. But it was you watch it and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Like it looked pretty bad, man. Looked pretty bad. So hopefully he gets it together and his head is okay. But yeah, JRich, Lad had his big day, right? Lad finally got it going. A lot of people are probably like, man, that's what we wanted all year. I don't know if that's indicative of what we're going to see this week. If I was a betting man, I bet you QJ leads the team in receiving this week. I bet you Johnston.
You go that far, right?
I'd go right back. And I mean, shit, the Chargers damn near lost to Miami. I mean,
Arizona.
No, they damn near lost to Miami.
Oh, the Chargers, yeah.
The Chargers. I'm talking about the Chargers damn near lost to Miami. And of Lad's yards, didn't 50-something come like with 20 seconds left in the game? He caught that long. I don't know, man. I think that this passing attack is very volatile, but very good at the same time. As far as, Keenan Allen didn't do anything last week. It was Oronde Gadsden that had 8 targets, 7 receptions. You get Alt back. You've got 4 different pass catchers. I don't know if it's the Lad McConkey show moving forward. If I had to bet, I bet you QJ leads the team in receiving. I'm going to just say that. QJ leads him in receiving this week.
Do you think that, and that's receiving yardage?
Yeah, it's yards. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I can agree with that. I'm more curious who leads the team in targets, because Lad had his breakout game. He's still been getting 6+ targets a week for the last month, right? So the opportunity is there for Lad, and it's just he hasn't been converting on that. This game hopefully gives him some confidence. Maybe Greg Roman does scheme up a few more plays for him. I think the issue is now is we may have a situation, especially this week with QJ coming off of missing a game due to injury, is we may just see too many cooks in the kitchen.
There are a lot of cooks.
It just may be 3 receivers all getting, their 6-7 targets, and you're just praying you got the one with the touchdown. I think you can start Lad. I think you can start QJ. I think you can start Keenan Allen.
You're going to start all 3.
Viable.
You're going to start all 3.
They're all viable because the Colts defense is not good and they're banged up on top of that. But they have been allowing a ton of passing yards. So it's a great game script for them to just go out there and sling the rock all over the place. But it's just you're praying you got the guy with the touchdown, I think, unfortunately. But I'd start Lad. I'm more than fine with it.
I didn't say I wouldn't start Lad. I'd start Lad. I'd start Keenan, and I'd start QJ. Would you start Gadsden?
Nah.
You wouldn't start Gadsden. He ran 39 routes. Conklin 0.
You can if you
Big Will Disley 8. You think that was just
with everyone back?
With everyone back, yeah.
It's harder, right?
Okay.
You can if you want. It's again.
Yeah.
you got him for nothing. But like, this is a guy that is coming off 1 target, 1 reception for 14 yards, and then 3 targets, 2 receptions, 16 yards the week prior. Then someone's out and he blows up again. Right? So it's if you're fine with the volatility, start him. If you want something more stable, there's probably potentially a more stable option out there.
Kale Brandt, new to you guys this season. Y'all are fire. Appreciate you, man. Much love. Would you start Johnston or Odunze?
Odunze every time.
Yeah, same.
He's also got the Saints. So,
I mean, if that touchdown wasn't called back, even though it wouldn't have been a big game, you would have been like, all right, like at least he scored. You know, he would have had 3 for 50 something and a touchdown in that
first game. He hasn't scored this season, right?
Yeah. Was it the first game? Rome hadn't scored all year?
First game he hasn't scored this season. It's his lowest reception total, lowest target total.
Yeah, you're gonna have a couple of those. Yeah.
And the first game he hasn't scored all season.
You're gonna have a couple of those. JRich, Kittle's back. Is Kittle back? Looks like Kittle is back.
Kittle is back, but we don't know who's going to start in this game.
What does that mean?
DJ Moore also may be playing in this game.
Chicago. I saw DJ Moore was good. I saw he was at practice or he returned to practice. So I think DJ Moore
returned to practice Thursday, limited fashion. If he goes full, probably going to be fine for the Saints game.
Yeah.
But yes, Kittle is back. We already kind of heard about that. Ricky Pearsall probably not going to play.
Nope.
Mac Jones is practicing, so is Brock Purdy in a limited fashion, but a lot of beat reporters seem to think that Brock Purdy will be held out of this game.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't really blame him against this Falcons passing attack. For people who are not paying attention, the Falcons have the best pass defense in the NFL, and they're facing off against the team with the best passing offense in the NFL. So we're going to see where rubber meets the road with these two teams, especially with the Atlanta Falcons on defense and the 49ers on offense. But, Ray, where do you want to start with this game? Do you want to start with the pass catchers and the quarterbacks of the Niners?
I want to start with Bijan Robinson. Is he the best running back in football?
Yup. The best running back in football. He is. Honestly, I have to give credit to Bijan because he is fulfilling the prophecy. In the way that Saquon Barkley became the best running back in football and fulfilled the prophecy that everyone, said he could be, Bijan Robinson's doing it, man. Like, he's finally doing it. He's being the best running back in football that we all knew he could be, and I believe he's leading the league in rushing yards per game. The Falcons lead the NFL in rushing yards per game. He's also averaging like 60 yards a game receiving, which is absolutely absurd. Best running back in football.
This dude's crazy, man. He's awesome. He's a phenomenal player. And then we finally, his long, JRich, going into last week, 37 yards in 2024, 38 yards in 2023, and then he finally got his 80-yarder, the big play on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. He is
his longest touchdown of the season too, wasn't it?
Incredible. It's his longest play ever, or at least rushing.
I think it was the longest rushing touchdown this season as well.
Oh, this season in the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Bijan getting it done offensively. We have not talked a lot about Michael Penix. He's only got 4 touchdowns on the year, 3 interceptions, but the guys that we wanted to play well, Drake London, delivering. Bijan Robinson, delivering. Why is there not Kyle Pitts? I don't know. I don't want to say he's delivered, but he hasn't. He's kind of been
stunk it up, which is
good. He has not stunk it up. Why is there not a lot more conversation around Penix? Even when we do the let's redraft the 2024 class and we start to rank Daniels and Caleb and Drake Maye. Penix is always just kind of, I'd put Penix there. Like, why is there not more conversation around what Penix is doing around this offense? They took a lot of heat trading that first-round pick to get James Pierce along with Jalen Walker. It seems like that has worked out in their favor. They're 3-2, so I don't want to overinflate how great they've been, but offensively, they do have a balance. And I know people hate Tyler Algier, but it seems like it does keep Bijan just every time he gets the ball, he just looks so fresh. He looks so explosive. Why is there not more talk about Penix and what he's doing to lead this Falcons offense?
Because I think what we're seeing, unfortunately for Penix, is kind of like a very young version of Jared Goff. Like back when Jared Goff was early in his career on the Rams, and he had Todd Gurley in the backfield just scoring touchdowns left and right. And again, he's completely overshadowed, right? Drake London is viewed as a better player and better talent than Michael Penix is. Bijan Robinson is obviously the star of the football team, and they're taking full advantage of that. Michael Penix's job is just deliver the ball to the pass catchers. And, when Bijan Robinson's giving you 100-yard receiving games, Michael Penix doesn't have to really do a whole lot. But he's doing his job. He's getting the ball to his playmakers. He's completing, 62% of his passes. But he only has 4 touchdowns this season and 3 interceptions. Right? So that whole story of how good is Michael Penix? He hasn't really had the opportunity to get there statistically. And I think that's why there's not a more conversation, because it's just Bijan is so good, so successful that when, you end the season, right? And here's a perfect example of Goff. When he was 26 on the Rams the season before he got traded, he completed 67% of his passes for 4,000 yards, had 20 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and went 9-6. That could be a Michael Penix season.
Okay.
Still threw the ball 552 times, right? Still threw for almost 4,000 yards. But when so much of your volume is going to other players, it makes it difficult for you to be the star and shine and obviously retain that value and for your value to go up. But the other side of it is Darnell Mooney is not playing. If Darnell Mooney is back and you have Mooney and London and Pitts and Bijan, that may allow the passing game to star a little bit more. But with how effectively they're running the football right now, I think it's just hampering and kind of holding down what Penix's stats could be weekly, because he already has the bad loss to Carolina. And he only has, he has 3 of his games. He's gone over 250. He's got 250, 313, and 298. But then he also has a 135 and a 172 with no touchdowns. So those 2 games obviously are absolute stinkers and not going to work overall. So it's tough, but I think he's just overshadowed a bit by Bijan right now.
Where are you at with Drake London and his ascension? Is he ascending top tier receiver territory? Not that I'm saying top tier, not elite.
So
elite
tier
guy,
2. So you're
tier
talking
2,
tier 2.
like the top. Is he getting to that level? Tier 1 is Jamar Chase, that's Puka Nacua, that's Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb is in tier 1 as well.
Yeah.
We'll leave Nabers out of it for now. He's injured. I think he's at the top of tier 2. Has London arrived in that spot to where going into year 5 next year? Because has he gotten a contract extension, Drake London?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't believe
he's in year 4. But they must have picked up his option though.
They had to, but I don't think he's gotten a deal yet. Has Drake London? I think he's still on his rookie deal.
Picked up the 5th-year option, so he's on that. But he'll need to be extended at some point, probably after this season.
Part of
that is the Kirk Cousins money hasn't gone off the books.
Off the books yet?
And they still owe him $20 million next year.
Is London there? Is London in the top level of that tier right now? Do you think so?
I think he's very close, right? I think he is also a bit hampered by the success of Bijan Robinson. It's not that this team can't be great.
Real quick, JSN is where he's elite tier.
I think if you want to put JSN in elite tier, you can do it.
Okay.
I've been so disrespectful to JSN, and it's not his fault.
Cool.
But JSN is JSN is as good as we saw in college. This is the receiver we saw in college that we said could be one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Got it.
It's absolutely insane what these Ohio State receivers are doing.
Yeah. Minus
Marvin Harrison Jr. But Drake London, I really struggle with him because I like London a lot, but he needs more. I don't want to say more volume because
he's getting the volume. He's getting the volume. I mean, Darnell Mooney is out.
Throw in the end zone. And it's I don't want to compare him to Puka because he's not comparable to Puka, but in the way that we say if Puka just scored more touchdowns, people would understand just how good he is. But it's kind of the same with London. But he scored back-to-back weeks, and if Penix can play better and they air the ball out a little bit more, then he can absolutely be there back-to-back 100-yard games, and we'll see when Mooney comes back.
We put Nico. People put Nico in that elite tier real fast. They put Nico Collins in that upper echelon tier fast,
and he was going 100 yards in a touchdown every game.
I get it.
For a 6-game stretch, right?
I get it. Yeah.
I think London is deserving of being there. I think he's right there. But
it's a great.
Would you take him over Odunze? Would you take him over?
Dill said London is more Mike. Look, let's do that. Drake London.
It's not Mike Evans though, because Mike Evans scores.
Drake London or Malik Nabers. Dynasty.
I would take
not
Nabers.
Right now. Right now, you're taking Drake London over Malik Nabers. We know that Nabers is out, but long term, would you rather have Drake London or Malik Nabers?
The way these offenses are playing, it's Malik Nabers.
Okay. Would you rather have long-term Drake London or Emeka Egbuka?
I think the answer is Egbuka.
Drake or BTJ? You're taking London, right?
I'm probably taking London, yeah.
But you kind of don't want
I don't
to?
like Lawrence enough.
You want to go?
Again, BTJ scored what, 10 touchdowns in his rookie season? Like it's not when you're talking about these receivers, at least for me, and chat, feel free to chime in here. The tiebreaker isn't volume because all these guys get a ton of volume. For me, the tiebreaker really is what does your touchdown outlook look like in a given season? Because if you're asking me, can Malik Nabers score 15 touchdowns in a season? The answer is absolutely yes. But the way that the Falcons are playing offensively right now, I don't know if Michael Penix has a 30 touchdown season in him. You know who's going to throw for 30 touchdowns? Baker Mayfield every season, because that's what he's doing. He throws a ton of touchdowns, right? You talk about Jackson Dart. Again, I don't know how many he's going to throw, but I know that when Malik Nabers is on the field, he's throwing the ball to Malik Nabers in the red zone. And that's what Brian Dable has shown us throughout the years, right? So it's really just, even with Brian Thomas, if the volume's there, the yardage is there, can Brian Thomas score more touchdowns than Drake London? Or
let me give you
London need a lot more receptions to overcome that?
Let me give you a couple of more. Drake London or Rome Odunze?
Rome Odunze.
I would take London over Odunze, JRich. I'm a big. I would take.
What's your tiebreaker here?
I think both of them are number one wide receivers. Both of them are tethered to young quarterbacks, right? So you can't. Okay. I just think that he is. There's not going to be a game where somebody else is outworking or out earning Drake London. I think he is the bona fide guy every single week. And we've already seen like some games where Caleb he won't go to anybody, right? They just run the ball. He runs around. I think he's more of that alpha level target earner, even though nobody was higher on Rome Odunze than me coming into the season. Not a soul, right? So this is not a Odunze stinks, but London is really, I mean, he was my wide receiver one back in 2022, and he had to spend 2 years with what's his name, Desmond Ridder and all of that other junk. But now that that's removed, like he's fulfilling what we thought he could be when he came out of USC. Would you rather have Drake London or Nico Collins?
I'd rather have Drake London.
So would I. I'd rather have Drake London as well.
It's a very short-sighted take because
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think at some point Houston's offensive line has to be better, and I do like Stroud. Like I have no issues with Stroud. They have no running game. If they just had an offensive line, Stroud could be a quarterback who throws for 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns in a season, right? Like he could absolutely do that. And so, you know, when we talk about these tiebreakers, it's like, well, how do I feel about Penix? Young quarterback, first-ish season in the offense, kind of his second season, depending on how you look at it. But from an experience standpoint, first season. And that's what I wanted to ask you is, okay, you look at these two receivers, Drake London and Rome Odunze. 17.3 points per game for London with only 2 touchdowns. Odunze, 17 points per game in just standard PPR scoring with 5 touchdowns, right, through the 6 weeks they've played. What does this offense look like next season with Rome Odunze as the featured piece and DJ Moore probably not on the roster?
Here's the thing.
And I'm not trying to say that it's, again, that's my contention point to you is I think this offense can be better. Caleb can be better. And I think you think about where they're at now versus where they were last season and the progression into next season. That's when you really could see Rome Odunze go crazy in his 3rd season and deliver. But for me, it's just like, I think the volume can be there, but the touchdowns are going to be there for Rome Odunze. And I think London's the opposite. The volume's going to be there.
Okay.
The touchdowns might be there.
All right.
And I don't like to bet on touchdowns, but when you're talking about high-end receivers, that I think for me is kind of it's QB play, and it's who has touchdown potential.
Jason said,
volume's there for all.
Jason said, I'm just doing this. He said tiebreaker is London. He went to USC, so I'm just the USC homer. Well, then
love for Washington.
Let's end with this one. London or Amon-Ra? You don't like you don't like that Amon-Ra.
Overrated receivers in the league.
JRich.
I just do.
Stop.
I just do.
Why do you think?
I just think his skill set is so much more limited than the guys that he's in company with, personally.
What?
it's just how I feel. I just don't feel like when you just
Hey,
to
man.
me, you cannot talk about
Hey,
Amon-Ra
dude.
in the same what?
We are going on 3 straight 1,200 plus yard seasons, 3 straight 100 plus reception seasons, 3 straight double-digit touchdown seasons.
Yes, he scores a lot of touchdowns, and they scheme him up in the red zone a lot. But here's my problem: is people put him in a conversation with players like Jamar Chase, like Justin Jefferson, like Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they are so much better than him, in my opinion.
Yes,
like they are just so much better receivers than he is. Statistically, he does everything you need him to do.
Who is this?
But for me,
Rolly Sage, I agree. Feels. How does Hey man, no. Don't,
I just think he has a limited skill set. Personally, I think he has a limited skill set relative to his peers. That doesn't mean he doesn't produce. It doesn't mean that he isn't worthy.
What does that mean?
Value.
I'm just at. What does that mean? What is it? Limited skill set.
Merchant. I think he's a slot merchant. If you want to just
God.
If you want to turn it into one thing, I think he is a slot merchant who gets a ton of volume and they scheme him up in the red zone so he scores a lot of touchdowns. That's what I believe. He is not even close to the likes of Jack Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Like, I don't even think he's as talented as Garrett Wilson. But he's a great receiver in the NFL and he scores a lot of points for people in fantasy. That is my opinion. I think he's a limited skill set relative to where people put him in terms of his rank within wide receivers in the NFL. That's just my opinion.
Luke said, wait a minute. Nick says he agree. Y'all, where are these people? JRich, hold your hands up so I make sure you're not typing this stuff in the chat. Are these your burner accounts right here?
How many burger accounts could I have?
You could have a lot. Jay Buck, he's spitting facts. All these people saying that this is.
I've always said this, though. This is not a new take
Nick,
for me. I've always said this. He's great for fantasy, but look, man, this is just how I feel. He's still leading the NFL in touchdowns.
JRich is right. Shouldn't be on the same plane as Chase and Jettas and those guys.
That's just my opinion. I think people love the story because he's a 4th rounder and he became a great receiver.
There's no story at this point when you've gone. He's about to go 3 straight years over 11-61-6 as a sophomore, 15-10 in his 3rd year, 12-12 in his 4th year, and he's on pace to be better than that this year. And somehow he's overrated. Damn near 1,000 yards as a rookie 4th round pick, and somehow he's overrated, man. This is one of the best.
Just what I think.
One of the best wide receivers in football. And the crazy part is, man, he'll be 26 in a couple days. I just looked. Drake London just turned 24 years old. I mean, in July, he's a fresh.
Well, he's 20 drafted.
24-year-old man. Drake London is good. Hit the music, JRich. We have one super chat. I do got to hit that before we get out of here. We have one super chat from Tom Gar. Shout out to Tom Gar. Tom said, I have an offer in Dynasty right now. Rasheed Rice and Bucky Irving for BTJ and Hendo. What?
Take it. If you're getting Rice and Bucky, just take it, man.
Yeah, man.
Just take it.
Get the hell out of here with that Hendo. Goodbye. Give me Bucky and Rasheed Rice. We appreciate it. Everybody being in the building, rocking with us. I was in vacation last week, so back in the studio this week. Got a lot of stuff dropping. We got college football this weekend. Got another mock that I'm going to probably drop probably Saturday, JRich. Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to drop another mock draft. The first one did well. We'll go back to that and kind of talk about those updated 26 guys. We got stuff on DDFFB. More importantly, we'll be back on Monday. Regular show on Monday. We were out this past Monday. Anything you want to say to people before we get out of here, JRich?
Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And make sure you watch the Blue Jays eliminate the Seattle Mariners, Ray.
You're not even a Jays fan. You're not even a Jays fan.
We are back, baby. We are back. And I may pony up for a game, but those tickets are damn expensive, man. $1,000.
Thank you. Is this Rhea in the building? Is that Rhea?
Yeah.
That's Rhea? Shout out to Rhea. She's pretty much saying, hey, JRich, it's time to wrap this shit up. We got stuff to do. Tell Ray to get it go. We're done. Rhea says we got to go. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll see y'all on Monday. We out. Peace.
Peace.